Every day we wake up and walk through life, often taking its beauty for granted. The things that grip the attention of a child first discovering the world around them eventually become an overlooked occurrence of everyday life. How often do people sit and wonder at the vibrant color of a flower, or at the strength of a mighty oak? At the billions of different faces there are, and how every person is unique. These are only a few of the everyday marvels that are easily forgotten or never even recognized. Marvels that millions of unborn children every year will never see. These children will never converse with friends, listen to the music of laughter, savor a cup of coffee, pick out a wedding dress, or experience a breathtaking sunset. Each person has intrinsic value, dignity, and beauty. This deserves fighting for. In January, hundreds of thousands of people across the United States marched to preserve the rights of unborn children.
We're here today to support life, and it's just great to see so many people here doing the same thing.
To preserve the life of humans.
He's called us to be a voice for those who are helpless.
I'm just so against abortion because it's wrong in every way.
I'm giving a stand for the children.
Just to be a voice for this and advocate the pro-life movement.
And that's why I'm here today.
It's not ours to make that decision.
I believe everybody has a calling for their life, and it's from God.
I have a friend who is autistic. We grew up together, we were in high school together, and I love him to death, and he doesn't care what anybody thinks about him, and he proclaims Jesus' name everywhere he goes. And man, he's just one of my best friends, and I don't think a disability will stop you from doing what the Lord has planned for you. And I would never make small of what his great plans are for anybody, no matter what they look like or what they can or cannot do.
That baby could grow up to be such a hero. Every life is significant.
Just because a child has a disability and it might have a life that's not the same as everyone else's doesn't mean that their life isn't worth as much. That life is just as precious. And if we say it's okay to abort someone based on what they're capable of doing, then who's to say that my life is more valuable than your life?
Honestly, men, these days we need to learn how to be men again. And we need to stop living a life of boyhood. And we just need to take the reins and say, hey, no, you know what, we may have screwed up, but the blessing that's coming from this it's amazing. You can't put a price on it.
I think that's one of the biggest factors of how abortion has become so convenient, because it's easy to not be a father than to say, you know, this is something that I did and need to take responsibility for.
He needs to step up, and he needs to be a man, and he needs to love her and love the child through the entire process.
They want just to bring life to this woman as well, and her baby, and help her realize that, you know, we're going to be here. We're not just going to counsel you and, you know, send you off into the world, but we're going to be here for you. We're going to provide for you and help you just get back on your feet, so to speak. So I think they definitely care about women.
When you go to like abortion clinics or anything, they give you a very one-sided view to begin with, and they don't tell you about the after effects of what happens with abortion. And I was one of those children that was not supposed to be here, and my mom was in high school and didn't want to deal with that, but she knew enough to know that she would suffer more from taking me out of the picture than having to suffer with me in the picture. And I just think they don't tell you about how hard it is after dealing. It's a lifelong regret that you're going to have, and I think that we care more about women because we're telling them, you know, this is the result of your decision. It's not just your decision. There's two lives you're looking out for.
A woman, I mean, she has a child inside of her. It's a child, it's a human being inside of her. So it's in her, it's in her body, but it's still a separate human being.
From the point of conception, I mean, there's a constant growth process mentally and physically until the day that you die. And whether you are in the womb or whether you are 90 years old, you're still the same person.
Just because it's not, you can't see it yet, and you don't see it breathing, but it is breathing and it does have a heartbeat, and it's just as valuable inside the womb as outside of the womb.
I'm actually English, and there's all this excitement going on right now in England because Kate Middleton's having a baby. And I was just reading an article the other day, and it was all going through how the baby its toes are separating, it has fingers now. And they were talking about this child like it's a baby. And that baby, just because it happens to be royalty, it's no different than any other baby. Every baby has the same right to life, and every mother has the right to be a mother to that child.
Every day that goes by, thousands upon thousands of children are murdered, all in the name of women's rights. But what about the children? What about their most basic right to life? Each year, pro-life advocates work relentlessly to preserve the lives of unborn infants. Will you join them? Will you take a stand to protect babies who are unable to protect themselves?